Hello everyone, or Didus Mido, and welcome back to Safari Mack Returns to Africa. I'm Safari Mack, your guide and host, helping you make connections to the wild. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are, back in the Kalahari Desert region, still hanging out with the honey badger, or ray-tail, whichever you want to call it. Or if you want to call it by its Latin name of Mellivora capensis, you won't care. Honey badgers don't care. So, today we are going to continue our journey by looking into the wild things, and when I say wild things, I'm talking more about the amazing and unique features that make them highly adaptable and fiercely intelligent, as well as, of course, looking into the problems that they're facing with human conflict and how humans are helping these creatures ensure that their survival will not be threatened or that they will continue for the next 100 years. But of course, if you're new to my channel, hit that like and subscribe button, check out my Facebook page, and then if you are one that has an animal that you want me to do in the future, you just have to send me an email, which you will always find the link to down in the description below. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get started. As always, let's get into it. We are talking about the wild things. And so today we're going to talk about their intelligence. These guys, make no mistake, these guys are smart. How smart though? Here's a couple of cases. In South Africa, in Hoedspruit, a rehab center has two honey badgers, one of them named Stoffel, who has actually caused major headaches for the people that run the facility and care for all of its animals. Because for a long time, this guy would constantly get out. It didn't matter what they did. Eventually, Stoffel figured it out with sticks, with rocks, even with a rake. And so, unfortunately, the man had to ultimately create his own honey badger Alcatraz as a way to keep him inside and not running loose. Because while they are, they don't mean any harm. They're really, they kind of can. I think they might be considered a danger to themselves. But that's just only one case of how intelligent they are. Here's another study. One study showed of a honey badger that was able to perform a test of figuring out how to get to a certain food in a certain situation. So he actually pushed his kennel, as you can see right here in the bottom left. He pushed it close enough to where the box was and was able to climb to that little box where there was food waiting for him as his reward. It just shows you how well these guys can use tools and other means to be able to get what they need to survive. But that's just one case of their adaptability. For one, as we know, these guys have very tough, thick skin. But now, have you heard about the whole, these guys are immune to venom? Well, not always is that the case. In fact, now of course, they do have tough skin, but part of the problem is that the tough skin is not always going to be a special piece of armor. They can take a beating from many snakes, including this here, black mamba, but that's not to say that they won't die from it eventually. Now, of course, the fangs may not fully pierce the skin to where venom will go into the bloodstream, but these guys, it can leave a honey badger incapacitated for a while. But of course, that's not still going to stop them. Porcupine quills, some scratches from lice, even a hunting dog really wouldn't be able to get around them, as these guys can fight back fairly quickly. And in a way, honey badgers actually can benefit other species living in the environment. But how? I am not going to reveal it right now, so instead I hope that you will stay with me on this African journey, and later on I will reveal to you how these animals can actually help other animals in their way of survival, especially in the early stages of life. Now we get to the problems that these creatures are facing. As you can probably guess, honey badgers like bees, honey, and bee larvae. And that can be proven as problematic for the beekeepers or honey farmers in Africa. More often than not, these guys are persecuted. And it's not just honey that these creatures are after. They've been known to do massacres of poultry. In fact, one report actually showed how many reports have showed an event called surplus killing, where they will kill more than they need. One report showed that the honey badger had killed 17 Muscovy ducks and 36 chickens. All those birds killed by one honey badger for food, and probably way more than what was necessary. So no wonder honey badgers are targeted by farmers and other people to protect their livestock or their way of life. Because while they don't mean any harm, all animals of course are just trying to survive, the humans have to make their living too. But it can be damaging for the environment. So what are we doing about it now? Listen, we already know that honey badgers are problematic for honey farmers. However, thanks to a very special discovery about honey badgers, farmers are now taking this into effect. Honey badgers can't jump. And don't say that in front of them, because I think they'll just look at you like you're insulting them. But thanks to this amazing discovery that honey badgers really can't jump up, some farmers are looking to make specialized beehives in where the honey badger can't reach them and steal their honey. But there's more that's going on. Of course, community outreach is helping honey badgers survive today by learning about how these guys fit in the food chain, what is their purpose, and how they can help benefit one another, especially in times of hardship. Because there's the old myth that the honey badger will look for a special bird that leads them to a specialized, hive. But even the people might look. This tradition of looking for the honeybees could continue as long as we're able to continue to let these creatures live in peace. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for this first animal on our continental drive around Africa. And so stick around next week as we remain in the Kalahari Desert, looking into one of the most successful predators in Africa, the caracal. But until next week, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there.